And this doesn't work because he will never be able to give that to you. Use this checklist when you're dating to see if this is actual love in its pure form or not, to encourage the people who feel like they're too late. Welcome in, my dear, lovely friends. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrea Gall, and this is Her Radiant Life, living a life of abundance and radiance and wholeness and healing, personal growth, all of those wonderful things. I decided to cut this into 2 parts because they were too long. So there's a part 1 and a part 2 of this love video. So if you have not watched the other part, watch for it. And I will link it up. The next thing I want to talk about is actually kind of a pitfall. Not kind of, it is a pitfall. It's that insecurity seeks validation. If you are insecure while you're looking for a partner or while you're with a partner, it is going to destroy your relationship. And I say that very confidently because there's many things that happen when someone is insecure. Now, I'm not saying that we all have to be 100% all the time confident. That's not real life. But generally, knowing who you are and being confident in the woman that you have become and that you're becoming, knowing that you have value and worth without a man is essential. If not, here are some things that happen in the relationship. You will always be trying to get that validation of your worth from another person. And this doesn't work because he will never be able to give that to you. I had a pastor once show me this. Well, it wasn't just me, it was everybody. He had 2 glasses of water and they were half full. And those represented 2 people in a relationship. And he said, if you're both half full, you're not whole in and of yourself. This person's going to say, I need to be whole. And this person will pour themselves into that other person. And then they're empty. And then so this person is like, oh my gosh, okay, now you're not feeling great and you're not whole. So I'm going to pour into you. And when they're full, they're empty. And it's this constant back and forth. It doesn't work. It's chaotic. It's not fulfilling. But when you're both full, you can just pour into each other and it's this overflowing, wonderful relationship it's healthy. Basically, it's a very healthy relationship then. Someone else isn't going to be able to fulfill you or fill that insecurity for you. Not long term, maybe in a few moments or minutes or a day or whatever. But ultimately, they cannot fulfill an emptiness in you that you haven't worked on, or if you believe in God, that you haven't allowed God to work on. If you can't look in the mirror and look at who you are, and I'm not just talking about only looks, I'm talking about who you are like inside, but also on the outside, because that's part of who we are. If you can't look in the mirror and say, you are beautiful, like I love you, then no man is ever going to be able to make you believe that if you don't already believe it yourself. When someone compliments you, whether it's a stranger or a man or a friend or anything, that compliment should be confirmation to you about that attribute. If someone says to you, you have beautiful eyes, you're not going to believe that unless you already think you have beautiful eyes. You're going to think, no, I don't. And that's a good test. Think about how you feel and what goes on inside of you when someone compliments something about you. If someone says to you, you're a strong woman, and you think, no, I'm not strong at all, then you have some work to do. And this isn't like the end of the world. There are ways to work on it. And I'll talk about that in another video. But just know that if you're reacting like that to compliments when people try to uplift you or encourage you or give you compliments about physical or personality attributes and qualities, if you have a response that is negative or no, I'm not, or contrary to what they said, then you don't believe that. And that area of your life has insecurity to be worked on. Now, another thing that starts happening in a relationship when someone is insecure is they start asking berating questions. Where have you been? Where are you? Who was that girl that you were talking to? You will have a constant need for validation, and that is not only irritating on a surface level, but deeply impossible for another person to continually fulfill for you. And eventually they'll get resentful or just be fed up with having to always validate you. This is why when two healthy people are together, you can trust each other. And then the insecurity doesn't surface up and destroy a relationship. I also think that insecurity is a big reason why women cheat. Now, I don't know about men 100% because, number one, I'm not a man. And number two, I do think that there's other reasons that men cheat. But for women, I actually think, and this is based on friendships that I've had, that I hear the inner thoughts of these women who have cheated on their husbands. They think things like, he doesn't make me feel beautiful. He doesn't do this for me. He doesn't fulfill me. That comes from ultimately deeply insecurity. Because if you felt beautiful, fulfilled, happy in who you are in general, again, there's always room for growth, you wouldn't need him to fulfill that in you. And so then women go out and cheat and try and get that fulfillment from another man. And there's two things happening here. Number one, they could have just broken up with that person and then gone to try to find someone else. But because they're insecure, they don't want to be alone. So they hold on to this man and cheat on him because he's safety and she knows that she can go back to him. And then she goes to try to find validation from another man. And so she's holding on to both these things, and neither of those men are going to be able to fulfill her. I've heard the before thoughts before a friend of mine has gone to cheat, and I've heard the afterthoughts of it still didn't fulfill them, and they don't know why they do it, and they can't figure it out. Well, they need inner work. They need to find the root of the problem and fix it. No man is ever going to fix that for you. And the last point about insecurity is that you are also going to put up with bad treatment and bad behavior if you are insecure because you're too scared to leave that situation to be on your own. Because if you leave, you don't know how long you're going to be without somebody else. And that's just a fact. So that insecurity of not knowing who the next person is going to be and not knowing what you're walking into, you're insecure in that. And so you stay and let someone treat you horribly. And that's quite sad. And that's another real reason and really good reason to work on your inner confidence and identity of who you are so that you can walk into a relationship whole and fulfilled and confident and not need that from another person. And also not put up with bad treatment. Now, this point about love, true love, is actually to encourage the people who feel like they're too late. You're not too late. I remember I was having a conversation with a friend in our 30s, and she said that a friend of hers had just gotten married at 45. And I said to her, I didn't just think it, I said, that is way too old. I don't want to wait till I'm 45 to be married. Well, I'm turning 44 soon at the time of this video, so I'm still single. I had a lot of work to do. And I finally started working on that stuff. But until I did, I really wasn't ready. And who I would have been with and who I would have allowed in my life or attracted wouldn't have been the one that I actually want. I did that when I was younger. I was traumatized and had lost my home when my parents died. And so when I met him, I ignored all the red flags. And because I was desperate for that home feeling. And I give myself grace because I really did go through something very horrible. But that is why I attracted that person. And I understand that now. So wanting someone before you're ready isn't great, because they're not going to be the person that you could attract when you are ready. Life is not linear. It's not this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens. Someone could get married at 20 years old and, God forbid, they get divorced at 40, or something happens to their partner at 45 and then they never get remarried again. That could be somebody's story, and that is somebody's story. Meanwhile, someone else's story is that they were single all the way up until they were 40 or 45 or older, and then they meet the love of their life and they live till 90 in love and happy and thriving. Both of those people basically had a similar amount of time with their true love, but they were just different. Every story is different. And just because you're older and you young ones, just remember this: if you do end up getting a little older and you haven't met the right person yet, don't jump in too soon to the wrong person. Listen to your spirit. Listen to your spirit. If you have major doubts, don't marry them, please. Trust me on this one. But just know that it's not too late for you. I mean, I truly believe that God made us to have partnership with somebody. So you're not the exception that he's just going to be like, nah, you're not good. You don't deserve someone. No. Why would that be? And if you do think that, and I thought that in the past before, I felt overlooked. I felt like it would never happen for me. I don't feel like that anymore. I know what's going to happen, and I trust God's timing. I'm preparing, and then he's going to fill that preparation with the right person, and we're going to live happily ever after. If you do feel that way, like you're the exception, that you're not special enough, or that you're the one that's not going to find somebody, that's part of the inner work that you need to do in finding your worth within yourself and within your spirituality, because you are worthy of love. You are already loved by God. Whether you believe in him or not, that's okay. I believe he loves you. And knowing that makes it much easier to move forward and believe that you're worthy of love from a partner. Now, the most accurate, true love checklist is from the Bible. And I'm going to read it to you from the New Living Translation. So ask yourself, when I read this list, if you give yourself this kind of love, if you give your partner this kind of love, and if your partner gives you this kind of love. And also, if you're single, use this checklist when you're dating to see if this is actual love in its pure form or not. Okay? 1 Corinthians, you probably have heard this at weddings, but it's pretty important. It's a checklist of real and true and pure love. 1 Corinthians 4-7. Love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. It does not demand its own way. I can think of so many times and situations and relationships that I've either been in or seen where people demand their own way constantly. And it's a constant back and forth bickering between people because they both want their own way. It is not irritable when you ask your partner to help you with something or for guidance or to listen. Are they irritated? And it keeps no record of being wronged. I hear so many people say that the person that they're with brought up this thing from years ago and threw it in their face. That's a record of being wronged. It does not rejoice about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. That's love. That's love in its truest form, in a checklist that you can check in your own way of self-love, of how you view yourself. Do you apply this to yourself, to how you treat yourself and talk to yourself inside? Is this how you treat your partner? And is this how your partner treats you? This kind of love. I also just wanted to show you how beautiful this is. Is that not gorgeous? I'm going to talk about this in a gift guide video on November 25th, 2025. So if you're watching this before that date, just know it's coming. And if you're watching this after that date, look up here because I'm linking that video so that you can look into it, because this is the most beautiful Bible that I've ever had. And it's easy to understand as well, which I love. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited to share that with you so that you can watch all of it and not miss any of it. Thank you so much for being here. I love that you're here to share in our fireside. There's no fire. There is fire right back there. Our fireside sisterhood, heart to heart talks about real life and love and growth and hope and things we've been through. I would love if you would subscribe to my channel so that we can continue moving forward. Thank you so much for being here. Always remember you are loved. Go out, be a blessing, and rise into your radiance. Much love. Bye.